Here's a number that should terrify you. 1,111. That's how many times more information an AI can process compared to a human in 2026. While artificial intelligence can handle 2 million tokens of context, you and I, we're down to about 1,800 tokens before our attention completely fractures. We've crossed a threshold that changes everything about human-machine collaboration. Welcome to the age of the cognitive divergence. I'm Will, and this is Mindcast, where we explore the ideas reshaping our world. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important research papers you've probably never heard of, the human substrate, navigating the cognitive divergence and our role as the glue between AI context windows.
Now, you might be thinking, that sounds incredibly academic, but here's why this matters to everyone listening. This research reveals that we've fundamentally misunderstood the future of AI. The narrative we've been sold, that AI will simply replace human tasks, is wrong. Instead, something far more fascinating and complex is happening. Humans are becoming the irreplaceable glue that holds AI systems together. And the implications? They're staggering.
Today, we'll explore 3 game-changing insights. First, the cognitive divergence, why AI and human capabilities are moving in opposite directions and what that means for the future of work. Second, the delegation problem, how our increasing reliance on AI is rewiring our brains in ways we never anticipated. And third, the agentic future, why the next generation of AI systems will make humans more important, not less. Let's start with our first key insight, the cognitive divergence. Picture this. It's 2004. You're reading an article online, and you can focus for about 150 seconds straight. Your brain can effectively process around 16,000 tokens of information, roughly equivalent to a 30-page document. Meanwhile, AI? It barely exists as we know it today. Fast forward to 2017, the dawn of the Transformer era. Something interesting happens. Humans and AI briefly reach parity. We can both handle roughly the same amount of information. But then the lines diverge dramatically. By 2026, AI systems can process 2 million tokens. That's like reading 4,000 pages simultaneously. But humans? We've crashed to 1,800 tokens. Our screen focus time has dropped to just 47 seconds before we feel the irresistible urge to switch tasks. This isn't just about technology evolving. This is about a fundamental rewiring of human cognition. The researchers call this the effective context span, and it's declining at an alarming rate. But why? The answer lies in what they call the neurological use-it-or-lose-it principle. Every time we delegate a cognitive task to AI, we're essentially telling our brains, you don't need to maintain this capability anymore. Think about GPS and navigation. Remember when you could actually give someone detailed directions to your house? Most of us can't do that anymore. Our hippocampus, the brain region responsible for spatial memory, has literally shrunk from disuse. The same thing is happening with our attention spans, our writing abilities, even our capacity for deep, sustained thought. But here's where it gets really fascinating, and this leads us to our second insight, the delegation problem. The issue isn't just that we're losing cognitive abilities, it's that we're trapped in what researchers call the delegation feedback loop. It works like this. AI gets better at a task, so we delegate it. By delegating, we lose practice with that skill. As we lose the skill, simpler and simpler tasks fall below our diminished threshold, forcing us to delegate even more. By 2025, people were delegating tasks as simple as writing 2-sentence email replies. But the real kicker? This creates what the researchers call competence without capability. You can produce senior-level output using AI tools, but remove the tool and your independent ability has actually degraded below where you started.
MIT studies show that people using AI for writing tasks exhibit significantly lower cognitive engagement. When later required to write without AI assistance, they performed worse than control groups who had never used AI at all. We're not just becoming dependent on AI, we're becoming cognitively atrophied by it.
Now, this might sound dystopian, but the researchers identified two radically different models for human-AI interaction. The first is the medical model, where AI does the core cognitive work and humans become de-skilled observers. Gastroenterologists using AI for colonoscopy analysis saw their unassisted detection rates drop from 28% to 22% in just 6 months. They literally forgot how to see what they were trained to see. But there's a second model, the chess player model. Grandmaster chess players use the most advanced AI engines on Earth, yet their independent biological capability has never been higher. Why? Because they use AI to study, analyze, and train, never to execute moves during actual competitive play. They use AI explicitly to build internal neurological capacity rather than replace execution. This brings us to one of the most crucial concepts in the research, the context tax. Even as AI systems become incredibly powerful, they remain fundamentally limited in a way that might surprise you. They can't understand context the way humans do. When you tell an AI to make a report simple, that directive means completely different things depending on whether you're talking to a CEO, a regulator, or a technical team member. The AI doesn't know this. You have to explain everything explicitly. Human context is composed of thousands of variables that are true but unspoken: organizational history, unwritten political dynamics, emotional undertones, cultural assumptions. Because AI models can't access this lived experience, humans must pay what researchers call the context tax, the cognitive overhead required to translate implicit, intuitive knowledge into explicit, tokenized instructions. This has triggered what the researchers call the inversion of the human-machine dynamic. The original promise was that machines would do the hard work while humans focused on strategic thinking. Instead, humans are doing the incredibly complex, laborious work of context translation and prompt engineering, just so AI can do the easy work of generating syntax. As one technical strategist put it, "We are the human API, connecting disparate systems because the models themselves cannot infer the required relational data. We've become the biological middleware of the digital ecosystem." This brings us to our third and most exciting insight, the agentic future. The AI industry is undergoing a massive architectural shift away from single chatbot interactions toward agentic workflows, sophisticated systems where multiple specialized AI models collaborate, invoke external tools, and execute complex multi-step processes autonomously. These systems solve the context window problem through specialized delegation. Instead of one massive AI trying to handle everything, you have fractal networks of specialized subagents, one for exploration, another for mathematical planning, a third for code execution. But here's the crucial insight. These systems require something they can never provide themselves: a central nervous system to decompose complex intents, route tasks, manage edge cases, and validate outputs. That role remains exclusively biological. We're entering what researchers call the AI-native expert paradigm. Humans are evolving from hands-on task executors into high-level orchestrators. In software development, engineers no longer write individual functions. They manage teams of Silicon Junior developers. They review outputs, define architectural constraints, catch AI hallucinations, and maintain the overarching continuity that only human cognition can provide. But perhaps the most profound insight in this research concerns meaning and morality. AI systems, no matter how sophisticated, process syntax. They cannot process semantics. They perform elaborate statistical mimicry of understanding, but they cannot truly comprehend stakes, meaning, or consequences. In clinical contexts, AI lacks what researchers call a functional amygdala, the biological ability to assign emotional weight and determine when something truly matters. An AI system cannot determine whether a patient's single hesitant whispered phrase holds more diagnostic weight than a full paragraph of technical symptoms. Meaning is inextricably tied to organic vulnerability, mortality, and the lived human condition. Without the capacity to experience consequence, AI remains incapable of true relational resonance, empathy, or ethical intuition.
Let me give you 3 concrete takeaways from this research that you can apply immediately. First, practice the chess player model in your own work. Use AI to study, analyze, and train, but maintain regular sessions where you execute core tasks manually. This isn't nostalgia, it's neurological maintenance. Your cognitive endurance is use-dependent. Second, become fluent in what the researchers call context engineering. The most valuable skill in the AI era isn't technical expertise, it's the ability to translate implicit human understanding into explicit machine instructions while minimizing the context tax. This is rapidly becoming the core competency that separates effective professionals from those left behind.
Third, position yourself as human glue in whatever field you're in. Focus on developing the irreplaceable capabilities, strategic orchestration, ethical reasoning, cross-functional communication, and the ability to provide meaning and continuity that AI systems inherently lack. These aren't soft skills, they're the hard skills of the agentic era.
The cognitive divergence reveals something profound. The future isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans as the irreplaceable substrate that gives machine intelligence meaning and direction. We're not becoming obsolete. We're becoming more essential than ever, just in ways we never anticipated. The question isn't whether AI will replace human intelligence. It's whether we'll step up to become the conscious, ethical orchestrators that these powerful systems desperately need. As the researchers conclude, the ultimate success of artificial intelligence relies not on the scale of our models, but entirely on the strength, capability, and ethical clarity of the human substrate that binds them together.
That's our show for today. If this research fascinated you as much as it did me, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How are you experiencing the cognitive divergence in your own work? Are you falling into the delegation feedback loop, or are you actively building your chess player model? Share your insights with us, and we'll explore your questions in future episodes. Until next time, remember, in a world of artificial intelligence, being authentically, irreplaceably human isn't just valuable, it's the most powerful competitive advantage you can develop. Stay curious, stay human, and keep thinking deeply. This is Mindcast. I'm Will, and thank you for joining me on this journey of ideas that matter.